And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I know I'm a little bit behind schedule, but like I said, I'm going to get you everything that you need by Friday. All the positions, all the wide receiver. I'm definitely waiting on wide receiver because, there's so many red and orange tags on the FanDuel roster that it's just ridiculous. As you can see, that's the way, like, how it starts with these two. Yeah, it's looking like all that. With, like, the running back is a little bit more clear, but like I said, welcome back to week 10 for the top plays picked by Grade A Fantasy. Top running backs for week 10 on the FanDuel main slate. Let's get right into it. As usual, like I said, I pick him all the time. It's not like he disappoints. It's just that the way the slate plays out, sometimes you just don't need 96,000 or whatever, and he does boom, but Saquon's in another great spot. And if people are going to jump on this Christian McCaffrey, you trying to tell me somebody who might have some limitations, you're not going to try and find the extra 200 for somebody who don't have limitations? I mean, I know I'm going to be big. I'm big on Saquon every week, and we'll just stop right there because we're going to have to talk about Christian McCaffrey real quick. And I'm going to do it like this. And we're not going to talk about Christian McCaffrey. We know what he could do, but let's just talk about Christian McCaffrey and how you should use him. Lesson 1. You've been waiting to play him, number 1 draft pick, season long. I think you definitely play him. Without a freaking doubt, you play this man. When it comes to DFS this week, I'm just going to let you know I'm either going to fade him or be way under the field. And when I say way under the field, like I said, I know we play the $3. I know we play the 20 max, which they switched to a 25 max. It's a 20 max this week. In a 20 max, I'll be lucky if I get him twice. Might get to him once. But here's the reason why. Yes, no limitations. The body is fresh. The Achilles is healed. He hasn't taken a hit. They barely touched him while he was in preseason. So if there's anybody that's coming off a fresh body and ready to accelerate and burst and could give you multiple 30-point weeks, it's Christian McCaffrey. Here's the thing where real life comes into DFS. Remember, F in the middle of DFS is still fantasy. Christian McCaffrey is there because if this is going to be an 8 to 9 week push, even taking a beating between now and then, his body's still going to be more fresh than anybody else when it comes to having a superstar workload in the league. He's there for a Super Bowl push. For this week, I don't think it makes any sense to give Christian McCaffrey one of those old, and he has a floor of 19 to maybe not even that, like a floor of touches. Forget carries. A floor of touches, like let's just say 19 to 23. That's the floor. And then obviously a max would be, if he's in the groove, he could get 30 plus touches or whatever, because McCaffrey could get anywhere from not even 4. 5 would be the floor of receptions. And then there's games that he has 9 receptions on top of like 17 to 19 to 21 carries. Fine. But the fact that this is his first game literally since last year, and this is an injury that's been nursed and taken care of back to health, they're not throwing him into the fire. So, why do I have this set up? Jordan Mason is clear. He's the one that's been carrying the workload. And if you ask me, Isaac Guriendo is also going to be part of the mix. So, this is how I say I'm going to play it. Be careful being over the field on McCaffrey. Let's say you divide this up into what's something fair? 40 running back opportunities. If you ask me, 40 running back opportunities to do something with the ball, whether if it's a screen pass or a carry, I think McCaffrey gets about maybe 15 to 17 opportunities. So remember, if I say 15 to 17, that could easily be, let's just get you back in the game, 9 to 11 carries, and the 4, maybe 5 receptions. Could he take one of them to the house? Sure. But I don't think you give him the full workload. So if I use that explanation, 40 carries from 40 opportunities for a backfield like this, and all 3 are viable, because McCaffrey's not going to get a full workload. If he does, congrats to him. You make me look like an idiot. But McCaffrey's not going to get a workload, the full. If McCaffrey gets a full workload out of 40 opportunities, that means McCaffrey's looking at 30, 31, 32. While Jordan Mason gets the rest and Guriendo's is just out the picture. I think Guriendo is probably going to pick up the scraps of 4, maybe 5 out of that 30. So let's just say you're split. Now you got to figure out 35 running back opportunities between Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason. 49ers run the ball. They move the ball. They get them that amount of plays, and they like to run it. So that sounds about fair. When Jordan Mason was getting carries, I said, let's split 40 running back opportunities. He got hurt that game, 14-2. In his heavier days, a 49er looking game, look at that, 40 running back opportunities. So when Mason was taking it over, he didn't take every carry. There was people spelling him, plus Debo was also getting the carries. So running back opportunities, this sounds about right. 28, 20, 19, 24, 1489. I think that Arizona game did get close. 973. I think that's when Arizona came back on it, actually. 14-58. So, maybe what I'm saying here is 40 total running back opportunities for this backfield. After Isaac Guriendo, who's going to spell both of these guys, capable of, taking some punishment and doing some stuff. Look, while he was there, he was getting 10, 5. So, 20 from one guy, 10 from another. Didn't really do much that first week, but he was getting 5, 5. He's not a pass catcher until the last week. Because the only reason why he caught passes last week, Mason got hurt. Mason's in the clear. Guriendo's going to get the scraps out of 40, so that's 5. Out of 35, I say Mason could still get 20, while the other 15 opportunities go to McCaffrey. I just don't think Jordan Mason goes fully away this week. I still think Jordan Mason is playable. Because it does happen to McCaffrey. McCaffrey gets vultured. He could get all the way down inside the 5, inside the 4. They don't want to strain him and give it to Jordan Mason. And if Debo gets cleared, that's more running back opportunities, and that's another piece of a 40 carry pie. So all I'm saying is, with McCaffrey this week, take it easy with McCaffrey. I love the fact that he's back. He's one of the best things about fantasy football, watching him play in real life, fantasy, DFS, whatever you're doing, season long, weekly, whatever. But all I'm saying is pump the brakes. I know we're excited to see pretty much the best fantasy player. You could argue Lamar Jackson. You could argue Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago, but he's been a bad man since he's been on the Panthers. I'm just going to take it cautiously. He's not going to get a full workload. If you ask me, it's Christian McCaffrey. Yes, we can wait for some news if he has no setbacks, but I don't think he's going to take like 70 to 80% of the carries. If he gets half, I guess that's fine, but half of the carries, when 3 running backs could obviously play this week, half of the carries is not worth 9,400. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. So let's get back to the rest of the review. I just have to have that little soliloquy about Christian McCaffrey. I'm glad he's back, but I'll definitely be under the field on him. Joe Mixon, it is a tough matchup to run against Detroit, but guess what? There was a couple people who had tough running opportunities against Detroit, and guess what? I've seen Kenneth Walker damn near break a single game. So with the volume that Kenneth Walker gets in that game, I like Joe Mixon to still be the man there, because if Nico Collins doesn't get cleared, Stephon Diggs is gone. Guess what? Houston is pretty much the same team as Tampa Bay. You're going to have to rely on your young stud quarterback, and then you have a guy who you have already been leaning on, because when he's not making a big play, the big plays are gone to Nico Collins anyway. So just because of opportunity and game script, you got to love Joe Mixon this week. Bijan Robinson, always applicable to pick. But for 8,800, what I'm worried about Bijan is also the workload. Like, I think he's only had, yes, I just showed you right there. He only has one game with 21 carries. Now, yes, his opportunities are added with 19 carries and then 7 targets. 13 carries, 7 targets. So basically, damn near every game except for 2. I mean, he fell short of that one, 15-4. He's getting basically 20 opportunities per game, and except this New Orleans game. But with New Orleans just starting to collapse, it's always good to have him. The question is, are you going to get the volume to justify 8,800? Because Tyler Algier, it sucks when he at least vultures one. That's why Tyler Algier is always going to be a GPP play. Algier basically his equal in a way, not in total work, but 5,900. I mean, he could get 2 goal line carries and pay it off easy and kill all the Bijan lineups. But just something to be worried about. But I do like Bijan this week. Jonathan Taylor definitely has a popular matchup against one of the lower ranked run defenses. Normally the Bills have a strong run defense, but with the volume of Joe Flacco and the hints that he's kind of getting a King Henry treatment where he's getting a ton of carries and barely getting targeted. Well, you know what happens when you at least give a guy like this 4 or 5 targets. He doesn't need much off a screen pass. We've seen King Henry take screen passes deep, and that one catch is just good enough for his volume for the day. So John Taylor, very popular pick. Because of the injuries on New Orleans, it looks like it's probably going to, I don't know if he's going to get 30-something looks in this one, but still, Kamara getting 19 to 25 look is still going to be a great thing. Jahmyr Gibbs, always a game breaker. Speaking of game breakers, somebody who also take a screen pass to the house is Breece Hall. Along with his carry work, you always got to love Breece Hall against a suspect Arizona defense. But I think, like I said, in the quarterback episode, I like the sneakiness of this game to blow up. It's definitely one of my favorite games to pay attention to, and I'll definitely be watching it this weekend being in the New York market. Like I said, I don't think Jordan Mason is out, but I don't think Jordan Mason is out of picking. This is a GPP play where y'all thinking, look, not to wish bad on anybody, but if you're picking Jordan Mason this week, you're either thinking two things. He's going to vulture a bit, get a decent amount. He's going to do a lot with the decent amount of work that I just explained about, or you expect a setback from McCaffrey and they pull him. Because he's coming in low owned. Because with McCaffrey there, Jordan Mason's not worth 81. He would be more playable if he's in the mid to low 60s, 65 and under. Because he will be spelling McCaffrey. 65 and under for somebody who's spelling a top star back and who could possibly vulture, then yes, Jordan Mason's playable. As of right now, though, no. But I think he's a smart GPP play to instantly get leverage on the McCaffrey lineups. Like I said, Sonic and Knuckles, David Montgomery, always in play. I love Aaron Jones this week. Didn't really do great, but that's one of those things where maybe he's not too chalky. A lot of people kind of got burned by him last week because I think, if not mistaken, he was 76-77. Better matchup, slight price up. Didn't have a dud, but he pretty much hit his floor, but he just didn't go all the way where he was supposed to be. But Aaron Jones is definitely one of my favorite running backs this week. James Cook has a side matchup in the Dome against Indianapolis. I love him. DeAndre Swift, just got to worry about him getting vultured as well, but he has a great opportunity in New England. Bit of a little in locker room drama, so maybe instead of Caleb repeating another bad performance, game script wise, you could give DeAndre Swift maybe a few more carries, 16, 18, normally in the teens. For DeAndre Swift to boom, I really think if he can at least he doesn't need 25, 26, 27. He doesn't need a Joe Mixon workload. But if he could turn this 16, 18, 17, and you add 6 to 7 more carries per week, 91 yards, 121, 51 right there, 11.2, 21.9, and 19.9 fantasy points, you could possibly add a very important 3, 4, and maybe 7, 8 if those 3, 4 lead up into a 6-point touchdown. James Conner, he's viable every week because he comes in low owned. I mean, you have those weeks where Kyler Murray and that offense just looks horrible, but he's the only shining spot right there. He's not booming every week, but for what his price is, I mean, he's just been consistent. 16.4, 13.9, 19.2, a 4.6, a 13, a 20.8, a 3, 21.9, 17.8. 2 duds. That's it. So if this game could at least get better, like I said, I don't trust the Jets defense. I think this is viable. You're looking for his first 20-point game since week 4 against Washington. I think it's possible. Plus, we all know from his Pittsburgh days and ever since he's been here, he's just like Breece Hall. He gets the targets from the backfield. 4, a couple of duds of 1-1-1, but 3, 5, 4, 3, 3. Doesn't have a receiving touchdown yet. Normally has like 2 or 3 of those a year, but James Conner, he's always a low-owned threat. Always low-owned. As we keep going down here, I kind of like both of these guys here, but I do kind of like Ramadre. Ramadre, he has to help out the rookie QB, so you got to protect him. So you got to give him the ball at 7,000. He gets the opportunities. 25, 21, got dinged up in a couple, and then, gets game scripted out, but still has 19.9, 22, 17.2, 16, and 23.1. Like James Conner, there's just, besides a couple of duds and him getting hurt one week, certain consistency you could just go with. I already went with Isaac Guriendo There's a reason why he's priced up to 67. I'm telling you guys this because even FanDuel thinks he's still going to be part of it. Now, part of it is also they didn't expect McCaffrey to be back this week, but he's still going to get a little something. He's definitely more unplayable. He's definitely more unplayable because now you got 2 running backs in front of him. But they priced him up for a reason. That's what I'm telling you guys this. As we keep going down, I don't really like much here at the bottom. Like I said, Tyler Algier. Like I said, just the opportunity to vulture. 6, 12, 5, 18, 6, 8, 7, 9. That's a significant amount of carries and opportunities to take away from somebody. So, like I said, he's always a GPP play. I think people just need to pump the brakes on Ray Davis. I mean, I'm not sounding sour because, don't get me wrong. I think, he took a huge screen pass from Josh Allen in the Miami game, but he scored 16 points off that line, guys. 4 carries, 2 targets, 2 receptions. He took 1 to the house. I mean, you can't count on that every week. 6 opportunities is not going to get it done. So pump the brakes on Ray Davis. And after that, there's nothing really down here. I don't think, unless some type of value opens up, somebody gets hurt in practice, this is not a pay down week for running back. So for me, I think the lowest anybody should go, it's not even 6,000. If you want to feel comfortable with a good running back play, it's 7,000 Ramadre. 68 for Austin Eckler if Brian Robinson is out again. I don't like his matchup with Pittsburgh, but Austin Eckler is a double threat to catch the ball at the backfield, so that could help as well. But they do use him. They did use him a decent amount in the backfield. He had 11 carries last week. His touchdown came off a carry and had 4 for 3 targets for 41. So that I would like him more if Brian Robinson is out. But to me, you're not paying no less than 7,000. Brian Robinson out 6,800. Y'all know I've always respected the Minnesota front 7 even before the new defense coordinator got there. The front 7 was pretty good last year. So either or, ETN or Bigsby, I'm not really interested in. That's more of a season-long play. If one is out, you obviously give somebody else the value. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is the running back preview, my top plays for the Week 10 FanDuel slate. Once again, like and subscribe. Also, check out the quarterback video that I did. Link in the description. Wide receiver video coming soon. This is Grade A Fantasy. Signing off.